Many individuals avoid talking about generational wealth because it's frequently a contentious issue in many areas. The shift needs to start at home with open dialogue about objectives and future plans among family members. Many times, individuals are preoccupied with their everyday activities and forget to make plans for the future or ensure that their children have a bright one. In the next few minutes, I'll give advice on how to get your family set up to develop generational wealth. I'll also be covering how to transmit the wealth you've already built. Anything having monetary worth that's passed down from one generation to the next is considered generational wealth. This may apply to real estate, money, investments, and companies. Education, financial knowledge, beliefs, and spending patterns that are established in your family and maybe even your society are all examples of intangible wealth. People frequently neglect to think about these intangible things, although they're an essential component of planning for the future. Hi, and welcome to Stealth Wealth. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 ways to create generational wealth and how to pass it down to your children. By liking and subscribing to this channel and clicking the notification bell, you'll be getting closer to having the wealth you and your family deserve. Have you ever considered how much simpler life would have been if you had finished school debt-free or wished you had received a sizable quantity of money? Are you, on the other hand, a person who was able to succeed early in life because your family provides for you financially? No matter what, you may already be aware of the importance of generational wealth. It's a way to improve our financial well-being so that we can guarantee the financial well-being of our kids, maybe even their kids, and so on. Alright, so before we go on, what do you think or what comes to your mind when you hear about generational wealth? Well, within a family, generational wealth is passed down from one generation to the next. During their lifespan, the first generation collects property, money, and assets, which they subsequently leave to their offspring. Those kids can then pass riches on to their own kids, and so on, with effective planning, of course. To better explain the notion of generational wealth, let's look at an example. The married pair, Paul and Jane Smith, had modest beginnings. Their own parents battled to make ends meet while surviving the Great Depression. They made the decision that they never wanted their children to endure the same things they did. So they lived well while also being frugal and smart in order to amass a sizable savings account. They leave their only kid, Simon, their whole life savings through their estate plan. Years later, Simon makes a decision to invest his money in a rental home. And after some time, he invests his profit in more rental homes. By the time he retires, he leaves his daughter Sandra with a successful rental property business. The illustration shows how money may be accumulated and passed down via families. In this instance, Simon, the son of Paul and Jane, made the correct choice to invest his inheritance in real estate. Then, he went on to amass a much larger fortune, which he left to Sandra, who's probably going to be able to pass the family company along to her own offspring. The first thing that you should do is to invest in your child's education. If you want to create enduring wealth, it's crucial that you raise financially independent individuals. By educating your children about personal money, you could assist them in building a road to independence. One of the most crucial things you can do to begin creating generational wealth for your family is to educate your children about money. Having open discussions about money at home will help your children feel comfortable asking questions. In your home, learn how to engage your younger children in age-appropriate daily dialogues about money. The subjects could range from necessity versus desire, earning money, and the value of saving and giving back, just to name a few. We should intend to teach our children more complex personal financial ideas as they become older. We should apply what we learn into our children's education as we learn more and come across new tools. By the time they leave the family as young adults, we want them to be prepared to be financially responsible adults. Even if you're still sorting out your money, taking on that chore might be scary, but most individuals learn more from their errors than their achievements. The same holds true with money. Children can profit from our financial successes as well as our financial failures. The benefit of preparing and funding an education plan in advance is that you may safeguard yourself against the erratic nature of future revenue. Such arrangements safeguard the child's education and subsequently his future in the event of a parent's unexpected death or income loss. Making investments while you're confident in the consistency of your financial streams just makes sense. As it's said to make hay while the sun shines. It aids in conserving without negatively affecting your way of life. The second way that I'll share with you is through investing in the stock market. Now, if you watch my videos, you'll notice that I mention this every time. It's because there are numerous things you can invest in. You can think about registering for free financial tools offered by Personal Capital to have a better understanding of your net worth, which would be your assets less your obligations. This technology is used by millions of American households to view all of their financial accounts in one location and analyze their assets for no cost at all. The stock market offers a chance to invest in passive wealth creation and inflation protection. Most people that diversify their portfolios and make long-term stock market investments often gain money over time. Since 1926, the S&P 500 index, which follows the stock of 500 of the biggest US corporations, has returned 10% on average before inflation. Since investing in the stock market can be scary at first, low-cost index funds are a good place for beginners to start, since they provide long-term development prospects at reasonable costs. Index funds and other stock market assets are a devotee's method of generating passive income to guard against inflation and preserve long-term wealth. An exchange-traded fund or mutual fund are ideal illustrations of investing funds on the stock market that might create wealth for future generations of your family. Consider beginning your own business if you have an entrepreneurial spirit. Most of the world's wealth comes from family enterprises, which also makes up 57% of the US GDP. There are numerous dangers to take into account when beginning a firm because most businesses fail. Nevertheless, if you're prosperous, you'll leave behind a legacy that you may share with generations to come. Alternatively, your offspring may decide to liquidate your company and use the funds to make new investments. Start as soon as you can if you want to create generational wealth for your family. Because wealth grows over time, the earlier you can start, the more time will work in your favor. You should be thinking about how to secure and pass on your family's money while you investigate strategies to increase it. Creating a trust is a fantastic place to start, even if there are numerous ways to create an estate plan. By doing this, you may rest easy knowing that whatever wealth you do accumulate will be passed on smoothly to subsequent generations. More than 30% of family companies are passed down to the next generation, giving them incredible potential for success. To be honest, not all family companies make it to the next generation, but yours may, especially if your interests and talents fit with that of your children. If, however, your offspring refuse to run the family business, you could think about selling it and finding another strategy to create generational wealth. Still keeping up? The next way you should do this is to build life insurance for your children. The burden is lifted off of your children with life insurance. Many of us have had the sad experience of having to care for a loved one who lacked life insurance. The stress of grieving may be enough for a family, so adding an unexpected financial burden will only cause your family's emotional and financial situation to deteriorate. Life insurance is a crucial instrument for making sure your family is taken care of after your death. You should consider how your present lack of insurance can negatively impact your dependents, especially if you have children or other dependents who depend on you. The general situation is improving. Only 10% of Black Americans reported discussing the stock market with their parents when they were young. This is according to an Ariel Schwab Black Investor Survey done in 2020. It was 37% at the time of the research, which was a big improvement. The generational wealth problem could be permanently solved if this pattern continues. Even if it takes some time, this issue can be resolved with the help of the advice in my upcoming piece in this series on how to pass on generational wealth. The quantity of money that's handed down for your family might be increased with the aid of life insurance. Having life insurance has various tax benefits since there are no estate taxes due on it, and because it's not considered to be a component of an estate and is thus not subject to federal taxation. The advantages of life insurance include a larger inheritance for your descendants and a reduction in estate taxes. In the case of an early death, life insurance can also aid in providing financial assistance for dependents. Next up is the fifth and last way to build generational wealth, so pay attention to what I'm about to say. Invest in developing different revenue streams. Having several sources of income will hasten the generational wealth building process. In actuality, the typical billionaire has 7 sources of income. Although there are many other income streams, passive income, which doesn't require your presence to generate cash, is the greatest. After you've completed the basic setup, the money simply begins to flow. Having a variety of revenue streams is the first step towards accumulating wealth. This protects you in case one of your income sources disappears. Additionally, having more money flowing in from various sources allows you to increase your overall wealth more rapidly. Different income sources also offer various degrees of security. A job, for instance, could offer consistent income, but that income isn't necessarily promised. On the other hand, an investment may have the potential for development, but also has a risk of loss. That's why you should subscribe to this channel to help you further understand the ways to gain wealth. Generating wealth for future generations is a difficult endeavor. Beyond the difficult process of money accumulation, we as parents should place equal emphasis on education and effective estate planning if we want the riches to last. Start as soon as you can if you want to create generational wealth for your family. As I said a while ago, the earlier you can start, the more time will work in your favor. You should be thinking about how to secure and pass on your family's money while you investigate strategies to increase it. You need to mention the specifics of your fortune in a final will and testament if you have amassed enough wealth to assure the financial future of your family in order to make sure it's managed and dispersed with care. Making a valid will is now simpler than ever and is even possible online. That's the end of our video. I hope you learned something from it. I'd love for you to share some thoughts in the comment section. Before I end this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. P.S. The notification bell notifies you anytime I release one of these informative videos, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on my financial tips. Thank you for watching, and until next time.